Ansu Fati! Oh, now that really is out of the top drawer.
Suárez, Ansu Fati.
Ansu Fati, the youngest goal scorer with the Spanish national team, the youngest goal scorer in the Champions League history, the youngest player to ever score an assist in La Liga, basically a record-breaking machine. Ansu Fati has grown up to become one of the most promising footballers in recent times, and with the start of Ansu's second season in professional football closely approaching, I believe it's worth a while to spend the time to get to know Barca's most notorious Wonderkid a little better. This is Ansu Fati, and his story is just beginning. A trophyless season is something that ends in heartbreak, especially for what is categorized as a big club. For FC Barcelona, it has been no exception. For many, an early debacle in La Copa del Rey, the league title lost to their bitter rivals, and a humiliation in Europe's biggest stage is enough to write the complete campaign off. However, there's been one shining outcome of Barcelona's 2019-2020 season, and that has been the rise of Ansu Fati. Born in Bissau, Guinea-Bissau, in the 31st of October of 2002, Ansu Fati began his football life 6 years later in the small town of Herrera, Sevilla. After immigrating with his family to Spain, the young now left winger, barefooted wearing nothing more than just swimsuit shorts, turned up to the local club ready to show off some of his skills. Soon enough, he was the prized possession of the whole town. All 6,200 people of Herrera knew his name, especially one crucial individual, Juan Manuel Sánchez Cordillo. Sánchez Cordillo was very important in the development of Ansu Fati as a player, because without his support by giving a job to his father, Bori Fati, Ansu would have never reached the heights that he has now reached today. Months after his arrival to local stardom in 2009, Ansu Fati was approached for several Spain's biggest clubs, knowing what was up with the young fellow. Though it was Pablo Blanco, the director of Sevilla's Cantera and youth setup, who didn't hesitate to vouch for the chaval and take him to the capital of the province. In 2012, after playing 2 years with Los Blanquirrojos, Real Madrid and Barcelona approached the player's family with two offers, with Los Merengues making the most promising of them, not only proposing to the family giving extra money, but also houses and community for all. However, as a father above all, Boris selected to go with Barca's proposal due to Valdebebas in Madrid not being a residential location at the time, and the values learned at La Masia were significantly better suited for the child's education according to his own opinion. Needless to say, Sevilla wasn't at all content with the situation, benching Ansu Fati for the remainder of the season, proving that Fati wasn't going to let adversity get the best out of him. In fact, he used it to propel himself forward. His humble beginnings are just that, beginnings, but ones that will serve him as the base foundation to never lose track from what is most important, not ones who Ansu Fati fall into the wrong path. Mark my words, I truly believe on this.
Juega para Jordi Alba, buscando la espalda de Daniel Vaz, aparece Ansu Fati, encara sobre el área, va a recortar, se va hacia la línea de fondo, que recorte, ¡gol! ¡Del Barcelona! De Jong tras un mano a mano en el que deja completamente en el suelo Ansu Fati a Daniel Vaz, hace el pase de la muerte para que llegue.
Starting his career at Barcelona at 9 years old, Ansu Fati had to make a hard decision to move all alone and cement himself in La Masia. Now at Avelin A, under the command of Marc Serra, Ansu formed a stellar couple with another player you may know, Takefusa Kubo, the Japanese Wonderkid, which just signed for Villarreal on loan from Real Madrid this past summer. In that not-too-far-gone campaign, Ansu did not only manage to score 56 goals, but also to develop a bond with a player that could be returning to Barcelona in the near future. We're talking about Eric Garcia. His progression after that stagnated in various occasions. Remember that ban for which Luis Suarez, Arda Turan and Alex Vidal were affected? Well, Ansu Fati was too. Later, for being younger than 15 years old, Ansu saw himself unable to be registered as a Juvenil B player, and finally in 2015, he suffered a lot because of a horrible injury in a derby against Espanyol, where he broke his tibia and fibula, leaving him out for a total of 5 months. Nonetheless, if there's something to point out about this young prospect is that there's nothing that's gonna be stopping him in his path to stardom. And as soon as he returned from the sidelines from his injury, he went back, but this time around to Juvenil A. He made the jump directly, and that was where Ansu Fati made a huge positional change, one that, let's say, has only brought him more benefits than negatives. Fast forward to the 24th of July of 2019 when Ansu Fati signed his first professional contract with Barcelona, agreeing to a deal until 2022. His chapter at the first team was soon going to begin. A year ago, before the pandemic and the crisis, Barcelona had other problems, and the main one being an injury crisis decimating the club's front line, with Carles Perez and Antoine Griezmann being the only forwards available at the start of the 2019-2020 season. Luis Suarez, Lionel Messi and Dembélé were all out due to injury, and soon enough come this little guy Ansu Fati from Juvenil A, and he started to take his very first steps at Barcelona. His crowning moment came on the 25th of August. Before even appearing with the reserves, Fati had already made his La Liga debut, coming on as a late game substitute for the goal scorer Carles Perez in a 5-2 home win over Real Betis. As soon as that day ended, many interrogations started to surround the player. Was he going to be the next Bojan Kirkic? Was he just another kid that was overhyped because La Masia hasn't produced an expert of quality in several years? Or was Ansu Fati just simply nothing more than another squad player to paint over the cracks because all the superstars were injured? The reality is that at this point in his career, nobody knew. But let me tell you that from what we have seen so far, none of these outcomes has been the case. Fixtures later, Ansu Fati continued to amaze absolutely everyone. With a runaway victory over Valencia, Fati scored his second goal for his boyhood club and assisted one for Frankie de Jong's first at Barcelona. That performance came a few weeks after he opened his goal-scoring record for Barcelona against Osasuna at El Sadar, aged 16 years and 304 days old. With only 3 appearances to his name at Barcelona, Ansu was able to demonstrate that he could find each and every single teammate in the first team like if he was playing with them for the longest of times. And that is when Fati started to make culés dream, believing that there was a light at the end of Leo Messi's passage at Barcelona. Yet 3 days later, on the 17th of September, Fati made his Champions League debut in a 0-0 away draw against Borussia Dortmund, becoming the youngest player to feature for Barcelona in the competition at the age of 16 years and 321 days. But that wasn't all, because in that same appearance, Ansu Fati also became the 3rd youngest player ever to feature in a UCL game. By the end of the year, on December the 10th, in the final game of the group stage, Ansu Fati came on as an 85th minute substitute against Inter at the San Siro, and just a minute later, he scored the winning goal. Besides giving Barcelona the victory, it also made him the competition's youngest ever goal scorer at 17 years and 40 days old. Ansu Fati at that moment broke his 8th record of his career. For many, it was this performance in which the young left winger announced himself to the world repeatedly, and now with the evidence of the European stage of champions, not even the most opposed of football fans could deny Ansu Fati's talent and ability. Theoretically, a 17-year-old should not be used as much as Ansu has been. It is unusual to see such talent in such a raw player. It is clear to see that his ability has been spread in over 20 games, and the most surprising thing is that he has been able to find his feet in every single one of them. His very first performance of the year came in February 2020, with 𝗖𝗂𝗁 Setién not having impressed the masses at Barcelona after losing a very difficult game at Mestalla. There was a next upcoming test, and that was Levante, where Ansu Fati surely was up for the fight. 2 goals assisted by Leo Messi in the space of a minute. It was pure magic to see. Let me tell you, the 2 Masia graduates connected. There was a link, and it was clear, it was evident for everybody to see. Ansu was exceptional that day, scoring a brace and summing his season perfectly. Sparkles mixed with potential, it was clear to see that Ansu Fati was drooling with greatness. At club level, Ansu Fati was reaching heights that nobody was expecting, but if you add to that his progression in the national team, we can really see how Ansu Fati's story is just getting started. Ansu Fati was granted his Spanish citizenship on the 20th of September of 2019, and now, whilst renouncing his 𝗍𝘂𝘁𝗀𝗃 nationality, he was called up for the Spanish side under 19 in the 11th of October of that same year. It was once again through things of destiny that Carlos Perez made way for Ansu Fati to get his debut. Ansu Fati came in, and on the 15th of October, he made his debut against Montenegro. Whilst this doesn't sound as much a surprise for any of us, Ansu Fati at that age was still a very big surprise to see him play with the under-21s. But what is more of a surprise was this year, as now Fati received a call-up for the full Spain squad on the 20th of August of 2020. He made his full international debut on the 13th of September, coming off the bench for the second 45 minutes in a 1-1 draw against Germany. When the next game came about, this time around against Ukraine, every single fan worldwide were keeping their eyes very close on Ansu Fati, because if he was going to be able to come in and score, he would become the national team's youngest ever goal scorer. And on the 6th of September of 2020, he scored Spain's third goal against Ukraine, in fact, to break the record, aged 17 years and 311 days old. There is no better way than to describe the 2019-2020 campaign as a breakout year for Ansu Fati. If nurtured in the right way, Ansu could become possibly the winger that they were lacking, a winger with pace and a bit of hunger coming through the veins, basically everything that they have missed in the last year or two since Pedro and Neymar left the sinking ship. Ansu Fati is the final jewel in the crown and the most resplendent one too. Under Ronald Koeman, who intends to use fast wingers like Dembele and Fati, the Guinea-Bissau born winger will have his chance to impress rather than waiting for it on the bench. And who knows, maybe he becomes very much the new Lionel Messi, or maybe he doesn't. But at 17 years of age, building around Ansu Fati and making him the new star of a new generation sounds like a very enticing proposition. La Masia is a gift that keeps on giving, and Ansu Fati is just one of the presents around the Christmas table this time around. There are many more to come. That's gonna be everything for today, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed. I'm working really hard to improve on the consistency on this channel. I'm trying to aim for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so 3 times a week. But if you want to see more opinions of me, more content, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm really moving myself a lot through those 2 social media channels. Your help and tips would be really much appreciated. See you in the next one. Take care. Ciao, ciao.